Okay. Good evening, Thurston. Good evening. Happy you're here. Good evening, Mr. Donut. Good evening, Mr. Donut. Wow. We're live. We're live, Mr. Donut. We're live. We're live. Happy to see you guys are here. Wow. That's nice. I was just gonna do a little recording and then, later on fix it up and upload it, but you guys are here. That's great. Wow. All of you guys are here. Saludos. Saludos a usted también. Saludos, Jose. Saludos. Wow, that's incredible. Saturday. Good to see you guys here. Saludos, Pete. Saludos, Pete. Wow. Everybody's almost here. Wow. I'm in shock. That's great. Let me just set up here quickly now. I'll go in live so you guys can go on with your day as well, Do this quickly. And we have it here. Wow, four subscribers. That's good. I can start a show right now with 4. I know you guys are. Thank you so much, Pete. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see. So that's that. This is this. Here. We go here. We don't want to make no more noise, We don't want interference. Because I got some information to tell you guys today that you don't understand. You guys don't understand. Wow, they're all here. Wow. Saludos, Rincón, Puerto Rico. Qué bonito. We have a subscriber that he is from Rincón, Puerto Rico. That's very near the town that my father was born. My father was born in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. And my mother was born in San Sebastián, El Pepino, Llamada, Puerto Rico. Para ti, señor José de Rincón. Mucho cariño, papá. Okay, so let me just get this here going, and we take it from here, and we're on. We are on. We'll put here. Qué bonito, bien. You got it, papá. ¿Cómo no? Claro que sí, mijo. Yo soy de Puerto Rico de pura cepa, papá. De pura cepa. I said that I'm from Puerto Rico, I don't know how to say it in English, but I'm from there. That means something real good, what I said to him in Spanish. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the Watch Market Update Show. Before I get into all the subjects that I want to share with you guys out there, don't forget to please subscribe to our channel and like us, If you can do that for us, that'll be very, very, very helpful. I would really appreciate if you guys would give me a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Right, guys? Guys, I want to talk to you about a subject that I've been telling you out there, that a lot of these Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channels and dealers and backpackers don't have much content left any longer. Now everything that they have going on is basically some kind of wishy-washy stuff, wishy-washy stuff that we're never gonna do with you guys because it's not our style. I come from a place that it's not nice, to be BSing people, So something that I did for you guys, and I feel very, very happy that I did that is that I give you a free watch market update. I let you know what's happening out there with watch prices, the numbers they're at, the way they're moving around, the way these guys hype it up amongst each other, to flim flam you, to fleece you, you know, because they see you guys, or they think that you guys are a bunch of tomato cans, but you're not no longer, because you guys have been waking up by no other than Sweet Kid Kino to me, Joaquin to you. Joaquin is there in the corner, very, very quiet, but he's hearing me, what I'm saying. And everything that I'm saying here today is on behalf of the brains of the channel. Sweet Kid Kino, Joaquin to you, Kino to me. He is the one that's telling me what I should tell you tonight, and I'm going to tell you that tonight. Remember, I'm just a voice. I just say what he tells me to say, and I'm going to say. And to be honest, I believe that he has some kind of, he's right what he's telling me. He is right. And so I was telling you that I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I am able to give you a watch market update. I did that. I've been doing that for the last, I would say for the last 3 years, for the last 3 years. But then we came up with something else that we want to give you a watch market update on your behalf. Let's say Mr. Dona. Mr. Dona sends me a message via email, via text, via live stream comment, and he asks me for a watch. I give you that watch market update, for free. No questions asked, no nothing. And again, one more time, I am happy and I am thrilled to do that. But I've been telling you that all these Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market channels and dealers don't have no more content. They can fool you. Because with my little army, with our little army, we have been able to spread out like an outbreak, and people have awakened up. And you're thinking, why is he saying this? Well, I'm saying this, I'm going to get there. I'm saying that because, these people don't have it no more. So now they're coming up with, a watch market update themselves. They're coming out with new releases, what they received in their store. You know what I'm trying to say, right? But then it's something that is very sad. And I'm going to say this to you so you can pass this message to your other friends and your other buds. There's a gentleman there that I've been telling you for some time that I call him the subway train jumper, out of New York City on 47th Street. I repeat to you, the subway train jumper. If you look at him, you're going to realize who he is, because I'm telling you, he looks exactly like the subway train jumper from the movie The Ghost, And ladies and gentlemen, is when you hear this, you think to yourself, wow, it's unbelievable that I give my subscribers a free watch market update, a free when they ask me, please, can you tell me the price of this watch? What should I pay? And the reason that I'm saying this, I'll tell you now, is because something like the subway train jumper. Listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to listen to me very, very closely. The subway train jumper is an unbelievable character. He's an unbelievable character. And Kino was studying his live stream. It's unbelievable. When you finish here, you go to his channel and you go take a look at his live stream. And you have a bunch of lambones, lambones and palomos. They're watching him, they're watching his channel. And all these people are asking this person, this subway train jumper, can you please tell me a price on this watch model, on this brand? They write to him like you guys write to me, and they ask him, and this gentleman replies back to them, to his audience, his live audience, that he doesn't have a problem giving you a watch consultation, but he charges, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear this so you know what's going on, what I do, so you can compare oranges to oranges. You have the oranges from Florida, you know, and you have the oranges from California. The ones from California, they have la masa, very orange, you know. The outside lining of the orange is very orange. And the one from Florida doesn't look too orangey, but it has more juice than the one from California. Don't forget that ever. It might not be the prettiest one, the one from Florida, the orange, but it has more juice than the California one. Okay? So this gentleman tells his audience that he can give you a watch market update or a consultation for a fee. You know, for a fee of $20 to $30. You know, you like going to see a lady that does magic, that looks at the little ball, you know, that they charge you a consultation fee. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, he's charging $20 to $30, depend on the time frame you're gonna take out from his day. And he has a super pow pay. You put it straight in there, and then he talks to you. I'm telling you what's going on. You know, I'm telling you what's going on, and I have to tell you because Sweet Kikino, if you guys don't know this, Sweet Kikino is my relative, but in reality, he's the owner of this channel. And on top of that, Sweet Kikino, for your information, is my manager. Sweet Kikino is my manager. Lo dije bien, Kino. Está bien, está conforme. You know, he's the one that tells me what I'm supposed to say. And when Kino told me that, I said, you know, that's not right. You know, because I don't have no consultation fee for none of you. You know, this is an open, you know, it's an open door. I want them to hear me out there, the platforms everywhere. I'm open, you know, and this is what I get. You know, that's what I get. But I had to do it today because Sweet Kid Kino told me today, this over, you know, sitting in the pool, we were talking, and it's incredible. You know, that's not fair to Sweet Kid Kino that he sits down and he prepares the whole show, and he's telling me this, you know, and I say, you know what, you're right. You know, what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And, you know, this lambón, you know, this trub, you know, this esta cucaracha, this cockroach, you know, is a cockroach from 47th Street in New York City. He's a cockroach, you know, because he doesn't want to soar with the eagles. He wants to crawl with the rats because he's a rat, you know. That subway train jumper's a rat. And he charges a fee, a consultation. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want none of you to get offended with me. I don't know if maybe you guys have had to pay a fee to talk to the subway train jumper, you know? If you talk to him, he gives you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, $20. You know, like Miss Cleo. You know Miss Cleo? You know Miss Cleo, you know? You know what I'm trying to say, Miss Cleo. You know Miss Cleo. It's unbelievable that Miss Cleo, you know? And so people will call Miss Cleo, and Miss Cleo will charge you $40 to tell you that tomorrow, Saturday night, you're going to be a Powerball millionaire, you know? And people were there giving the money out. But what was Miss Cleo giving you? This, you know? And me, what I give you is my time. I said it wrong. Sweet Kid Kino's time, you know? Because he gets his prepared. And I'm telling you, it's not fair. And we were sitting in the pool, you know, having one of those umbrella drinks. We were having an umbrella drink. And he told me, you know, that guy, you know, that subway train jumper charges his people $20 to $30 for a consultation to let them know how much they should pay for this watch, you know. I do it for free. That's what Kino was telling me, you know. He's my manager. He was telling me that. And I said, don't worry about it, Kino. You know, I'm going to talk about that subject and let our, you know, organic watch channel subscribers know what's happening with those people on 47th Street in the Diamond District. Esa gente son una cucaracha. Those people are cockroaches. Those people are cretins. You know, those people are an infection in the corner of your nail, you know, with green pus. You know, they're an infection, you know, and we do this with love, you know, because we care about you people. But when we hear that these people are charging that amount of money, We don't like that because, that's crazy. That's like Miss Cleo. You don't remember Miss Cleo? I think one time when I was younger, I wanted to, give her a phone call to find out what's happening in my life too. Porque somos lambones, somos unos sapos, somos sapos. I don't know if I'm making sense to you guys, but it's the truth. These people, they don't have no more, no more content. There's no more content out there. So now basically, I'm being honest. They are copying from me, They're doing a watch market update. They're new arrivals of watches. I'm gonna give you a consultation fee. This is unbelievable, and we don't like that, because we do this with love. We care about you people, So I wanted you to know that this is the new thing they're attacking, and it's not only him, It's not only him. If you think it's only him, you're wrong. You also have the walrus fat bastard. The walrus fat bastard. You have the hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo. They got fees. They charge you. If you want to ask him a question about a watch, you're going to see in the next 20 minutes when I give you the watch market update. Because I'm stupid like that, today I'm going to give you a watch market update on no other than Feet Happy. You know who Feet Happy is? I'm going to give you a watch market update for free on Feet Happy. And they're not going to be happy with Sweet Kid Kino, my manager. I'm going to give you today a watch market update dedicated to Feet Happy. For the two brothers out of the Roxbury. A night at the Roxbury. That the father had a flower shop. Baby, don't hurt me no more. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to give you that today. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand what's going on out there. And I have to, Thank you, Mr. Donald. Baby, don't hurt me no more. And I feel that way. I feel like, when he stood in the pool area, one of the brothers, and he had the big cassette deck, and on top of his head, dun, 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 that's how I feel. So I got to tell you all these things to let you know what's going on, the way they're attacking. This is what they're doing. The hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo, the walrus, the two Big Pun and Heavy D, the two Jehovah Witness brothers. You got those two toddler body brothers now, and now they did a crossover. You remember, the singer Julio Iglesias? Julio Iglesias, he was unbelievable singing in Latin, in Spanish, but he had to do a crossover, and he did a crossover with, what's his name? That guy too that, he likes that thing, that THC. I think his name is Willie Nelson, for all the girls I loved before. You know what I'm saying? Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm international. I know that. So I got to tell you everything that I know. I got to tell you everything that I know so you don't get flim-flam, so you don't get fleeced. You cannot continue being crumb bums in this channel. You cannot continue being crumb bums. You cannot continue being sandbags, because I'm not going to permit that. I'm not going to permit that, and again, I feel bad because these people don't have no more content, and they're, so just to let you know that when I give you a consultation, it's for free. You don't need to be sending $20 and POW Pay, and whatever you call the other one, Velmo, Vigo, whatever you want to call it. I don't know those things that you send money. I don't know about that kind of stuff. It's not me. So this is what they're doing. This is the attack they're doing. They're charging consultation fees if you want to know a price on a particular watch brand and model. And we have it here for free. All right? I hope that clears, the air a little bit of what we do here in this channel. What we do on this channel is unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, you have to, you know what I'm saying about Julito, July, you know, you also have to thank, you see my face always, but you also have to thank that's the one, Velmo. You see that? I don't know how to say it. I'm telling you, you people giving money away everywhere. And and so we sit around, we say, coño, these people are, it's unbelievable that subway train jumper. It's unbelievable that Walrus. It's unbelievable Big Pun and Heavy D. It's unbelievable the two Jehovah Witness brothers, charging a consultation fee, a finder's fee, and let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. People have told me in this channel, hey, if you give me this watch, I give you a finder's fee. Listen to me, man. The prices that I'm telling you, they're there. You look for them and you're going to find them. Cash is king. When you have cash, you dominate the conversation. You understand me? I also want to say something which is very, very important. And this happened to me yesterday. It happened to me yesterday. If you were not live with me yesterday, you're gonna hear this today. Yesterday I did a live stream, and I was talking about gold, the situation with gold, pure gold, and I was talking about gold, the way it's behaving, and yesterday for some reason when I did the show, the gold was at $3,515 an ounce. And I was very, very flattered and very happy because the day before that we spoke about gold and we talked about a lot of things and this and this and that. And ladies and gentlemen, I was like 27 minutes into the show, and something that we don't practice here, trying to deceive you guys. We don't practice here trying to get you to do something, to buy our membership, to do this, to do that. We just give you straight what it is. And it looks, for what I spoke to a couple of people today, that basically I'm saying too many truthful things to the people out there, and they probably don't like it too much because you're dropping too much knowledge. You're letting people know what's going on. That's what they were telling me today. So ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this, but we have a special antenna, in our channel, in our lighting system, our cameraman. Try to follow me. I'm trying to make it cute. Try to follow me, right, guys? And people are telling me, you have to be careful, because, you're talking things that, some people are walking the dead, they never heard about, the 6103 executive order in their lives, they never heard that, this happened in 1933 with President Dwight, whatever you call it, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and the transition with Hoover, and you're saying all these things. But ladies and gentlemen, let me not get you tired. So I was in the show, and it was a pretty nice show, and you're not gonna believe this. Suddenly, a thunder lightning hit the tower. Sí, lo tengo que decir así, lo tengo que decir así. I have to say like that. The thunder lightning hit the tower of our broadcast system, and you're not gonna believe this, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody was here yesterday and can vouch for me, please vouch, so I won't have to get into words. It destroyed the antenna, and the whole thing went haywire, and everything went wired, and you don't understand. If you guys were not here, you can talk to Damon, you can talk to Mr. Ed, you can talk to Mr. Donut, you can talk to Thurston Howell III. They'll explain to you. It was unbelievable. I never seen. I thought the thing was going to come out of the TV and get me. This is no lie. I thought it was going to come out of the TV and get me. I'm telling you. Listen to me, guys. You don't understand how I felt yesterday. I felt very nervous. Kino told me, listen, we got to stop this because this is incredible. It went haywire, and like that, it's unbelievable what happened here yesterday. Listen, the antenna it got a little bit burned, you know? It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe what was going on. And we were having an unbelievable show. We were talking about what you want to learn about purchasing, you know, purity gold, you know. You understand me? From your, you know, you know, where you live at, where you buy it, you know, the refinery, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, it was a ta ta ta, and I was in shock. And my audience, they were writing to me, you know, SOS, SOS. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Listen to me. If I'm lying, am I lying, gentlemen, or is this true what I'm saying? Please. It was a thunder lightning that I have never seen in my life. And ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to work to bring you guys back, you know, bring you guys back to me. And there was no way. Then I started hearing, you know, voices in the background. Something I've never heard in my life, because I'm only bringing, let me drink a little bit of this juice because I'm feeling nervous, you know. It was unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to me, my first time that we had to shut off the whole system. The lighting system, we shut it all off, the computer, everything, because I don't know, they were throwing a mouse, something, you know, a bug. How do you call that? Somebody help me out, you know, something. They throw something, you know. The system, everything went crazy, ladies and gentlemen, you know. My audience was going bananas. They couldn't believe, what they were witnessing, you know. They were telling me, I couldn't hear them. One. I'm telling you, it was like Walter Cronkite, Peter Jennings, you know, Ted Koppel. Unbelievable. You're not going to believe what I was experiencing, you know. And so, ladies and gentlemen, not to get you tired. So I told Kino and I told my workers, you know, my lighting gentleman, my cameraman, my effects, I said, turn everything off. Turn everything off, because I was hearing voices and everything, you know, and the speaker, you know, and it was a cyber attack. It was unbelievable. And I was nervous because I'm going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, once I turned everything off, that my employees turned the whole system, Kino was getting nervous. We looked out the window, you know, because it was, I'm making it funny for you guys. The Scouts' honor, it was an attack. It was an attack because, you know, they say that, you know, Paco always told me, you know, to get through to people, you know, Paco would always tell me, he says, one, to get through to people, you don't have to use no foul language. You don't have to say no lies. Nothing. You don't have to say nothing. You only have to say the truth. And I was saying too much truth. And they threw that thunder lightning to my antenna, you know, and it went crazy. So we shut it all off. You know, I spoke for half an hour. I took everything that I had already recorded. You're not going to believe this. I deleted it. Ladies, and if I'm lying, please vouch for me if I'm lying. I deleted everything. I took everything out. And you're not going to believe this. So you can understand the integrity that I carry in my life. I said, you know what? The show must go on. The show must go on. And you're not going to believe it. I started the show all over again. There it is. That gentleman just put it right there. Thurston Howell III can tell you. I started the whole show again. When I finished, I had to go and sit down in some cold water to relax my system, because it was something very, you know, that I wasn't expecting, you know, that it's because, you know, Paco told me that every time you're doing something good, someone is going to want to interrupt you, you know, and I was interrupted because I was doing something good. and that's how it is. So I'm letting you know what's going on. And ladies and gentlemen, I was talking about gold when that all happened, and I told you the ounce of gold was at $3,515. You know, after I sat down and I looked at everything, you're not gonna believe this, but I look at a channel, you know, where they have analysis of what's going on around, and gold. When I looked at it again, you know, when I cooled down, you know, I have a little jacuzzi, you know, back there. I cooled down and I looked. You're not gonna believe this. Gold, you know, stopped at $3,530 a troy ounce. You know, it's unbelievable what's happening, and I'm telling you this so you know what's happening. You know, so you know, focus. You know, look straight in what's happening, because you know I was attacked, and I felt yesterday. I felt like I was, you know, I felt you know, I felt kind of coño, they're gonna, you know. But enough of that. I told you what happened, my experience yesterday, and I know some of you were here. I want to thank to the ones who were here that I deleted and then came back to witness the show. I think the show was fabulous. Anyway, I think it did it incredible, you know, and so it's good to go. You know, I'm not in that. I'm not in that. Wow, look at this. Good times, but listen to me. I want to just say. I want to just say something to you, and you don't have to agree with me. I like when you guys disagree with me, and I like when you guys show me something. When you see gold, it keeps on going up. It's not because, you know, it's a good thing. You know, things are, you know, there's a lot of printing. You know, there's a lot of printing, and you know, things are not right, and those people, you know, those people, when they the CAI get involved, you know, and you know, I told you that if this thing goes boof, you know, you know, I don't think that boof is gonna hit, but it won't be around for a couple of days. You know, you better, you know, like when you go to the casino and you go to the cage and you say cash me out, you gotta, you know, right there, you know, you got it, cash it out, because the next day is bam, you know. So I'm just telling you what's happening. I felt yesterday very, you know, I felt that I'm telling you, the hairs on my head, they stand up. I don't know what happened, you know, and so I told you about Executive Order 6102, 6103. I don't know what it is, you know, but you know, the biggest thing that ever happened in this country, don't be fooled. That was the biggest thing that ever happened, you know. And it wasn't like, you know, say, hey, give me your money, you raise your hand. No, 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 no. It wasn't like that. They said, you know, on May 1st, you make a straight line and you walk in and you drop it inside the can, inside the can. If you know what I mean, that's good. And if you don't know what I mean, I'm sorry. Ask somebody out there, they'll help you out. So listen, guys, I'm going to give you a watch market update. Thank you. Thank you so much, D. I'm going to give you a watch market update I'm going to just say this. The worst thing that can happen is that suddenly this antenna of mine just blows away like the Wizard of Oz. You know, the antenna just blows away. You know, Dorothy, you know, and Toto, the Scarecrow, Tin Man, you know, the Lion. That's what's going to happen. You know, but it'll come back again. You know, it's because this is how it is. I'm going to give you today a watch market update dedicated to Feet Happy out of Beverly Hills. Feet Happy, you know. I'm gonna give you that because certain subscribers have asked me for that watch market update on Feet Happy, and I'm gonna give it to you, ladies and gentlemen. So the first watch for you guys is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Blue Dial Perpetual Calendar. Reference number 26574 on stainless steel on a 41 millimeter. You know, Feet Happy has this watch for a price of $98,000. Feet Happy has it for $98,000 out of California. You know, the two brothers, A Night at the Roxbury. You know, they hang out with Toupee Wig Man, you know, with the green shoes, yellow jeans, ripped, you know, flower shirts, and the toupee, you know. You know, he says he's worth like 400 million, and he only shows you his old dusty kitchen in his closet, you know, but he's $400 million rich, and he's selling watches as a salesman for, you know, Feet Happy. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, for that AP Royal Oak Blue Dial Perpetual Calendar 26574 41 millimeter, they're asking $98,000. And I'm going to tell you, sir, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $89,999. And you do whatever you want. I'm on fire today. I'm on fire. That thunder lightning that hit my antenna, I'm still a little bit annoyed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about another watch that he has there. And he was so embarrassed, you know, that Feet Happy, that he showed the watch, you know, he showed it, he talked about it, but he didn't say no price. But I'm going to give you the price, sir. He showed an AP Royal Oak, green dial, chronograph, you know, yellow glow, reference number 26331, you know, BA. You know, when they put that B in the A, you know, it's something big, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable, this watch. Beautiful chronograph with a crayon green, you know, like crayon eaters, crayon green chronograph. Beautiful yellow gold. Unbelievable, that chronograph. Ladies and gentlemen, and sir, don't pay for that watch, and it's dropping. Don't pay for that watch more. Listen up, Feet Happy. This is for you. It's dedicated on you, Feet Happy. If they want to throw another thunder lightning, you may do so again. I'll start the show all over again. I'm already into the show, 37 minutes. Unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you, sir, don't pay for that watch more. And I mean more. ¿Cuánto? Don't pay more than $152,000. And that watch was over $725,000. You do whatever you want. The watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down. Stop being sandbags. Stop being crumb bums. You know, stop it already with that. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex white gold. You know, the Cotton Candy Yachtmaster. Unbelievable, that Cotton Candy Yachtmaster. You know, has a cotton candy, you know, bezel, you know, with blue, pink, white. You know, it's unbelievable, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch was all the way up, you know. And again, they were kind of embarrassed. They didn't want to say it because, you know, Sweet Kid Kino's watching everything. I'm telling you, and I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that cotton candy. You do whatever you want. It has a black dial, you know, Oyster Flex. It's beautiful, this watch. But don't pay for that watch. You know, if you want it for your girlfriend, you know, if you want to give it to your husband, you want to give it to your boyfriend, whatever it is the matter, whatever you want to do. It's an unbelievable watch. But don't pay for that watch, for that Yachtmaster. Don't pay more. And I mean, don't pay more. Listen up, Feet Happy. Listen up and write it down. Don't pay more than $139,000. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The most expensive thing that watch has is the cotton candy bezel. That's it. That diamond stone bezel. That's it. You paying for that bezel $80,000. And you tell them that I told you, because I'm stupid like that. 23 organic watch channel subscribers, 10 of these. That's all I get. I'm telling you, Kino is right. I'm telling you. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you about another watch. It is the AP Royal Oak. You know, AP Royal Oak. They call this the Japan edition. 222 pieces around the world. 222 pieces around the world, ladies and gentlemen. You know, white gold. It's unbelievable, you know. 222 pieces. Reference number 26239, chronograph, 41 millimeter. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm stupid like that. I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth. I have to. Paco told me always, Juan, never sell your integrity for nothing. Don't do it. Don't do it. What a mind this Paco Gambino had, man. Unbelievable. 5 feet 4 inches, man, and he would put the fears on your hands. He will put the fears on your hands at 5'4". You know? You know how tall I am? In a bad day, I'm 6'3". On a good day, I'm 6'4". And when I would talk to Paco, I would just listen and just look at him, you know? Because what he was talking was incredible. He was brutal. He was brutal. What a mind. And listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't bullshitting you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful watch. AP Royal Oak, 222 pieces around the world. 26239 is the reference number. It's a chronograph with a blue dial. Unbelievable. 41 millimeter. You know that Feet Happy has a price for that watch of $87,000. $87,000. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, wow, look at this. Thurston Howell III is fighting. He's fighting, and I like that. I enjoy this. Thurston Howell makes me work hard, you know? Makes me work hard, real hard. Coño. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, they're asking for that watch. Feet Happy. Listen to Thurston Howell III, what he put down. Look at it. Don't feel embarrassed. They're asking for that watch $87,000. And I think Thurston Howell III put $68,000. And you know, I don't know how to practice the BS matter here. I gotta be honest. But I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay. At least he was the only one that dared to put that price, Thurston Howell III. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more, and I mean more, than $76,000. And down, Feet Happy. Down, Feet Happy. Down, Kilo, hold me back. No, don't take me all the way back. No. Down, suéltame, Kilo. Let me go, Kilo. Una más. No, una más. Down, no bien. Kilo, suéltame. Down. Coño, pero no me aguante tan duro. You know what? I mean to keep on dropping. I'm letting you know what's going on. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an AP Royal Oak. The 15510. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The 15510. 41 millimeter. White gold. You know, white gold. Blue dial. Ladies and gentlemen, that Feet Happy has a price tag on that watch of $103,000. And you should see the way they say it, you know, the way they all hang around the table, you know, like lambones y palomos, you know, because whatever one of the Roxbury boys say, you know, they all, oh my God, you know, they clap and they go crazy, you know, they go, porque son unas locas, son unas enfermas, you know, they don't wear, those guys that work over there, they don't wear underwears, they wear tangas. You don't know about that. They wear tangas, you know, Miami Beach, Labor Day weekend over there. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he's asking $103,000 for that watch. Feet Happy. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm stupid like that, don't pay for that watch more, and I mean more than $91,000 and down, Kilo. Down again, Kilo said. Telling you what it is. Feet Happy. Come on, don't get angry. It's the truth, Papa. You cannot continue flim-flamming these people. This is why they don't open the floodgates on me. I will go international. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch now that I want you to really listen. This watch, in the Corona beer era, was over. Listen to this, Papi. It was sickening, Papa. It was It was sickening. The money that these people made and the money they blew away was disgusting because they thought it was never going to finish. You know, we're talking about a Richard Mille. You know, a Richard Mille. They call this the kiwi. You know, like the kiwi, the fruit, the kiwi. Listen and learn. Open up your horizons. The kiwi. You know, the kiwi is green. You know, it's unbelievable fruit. It's, you know, it cleans your body. You know, my wife always gives me that, always with fruit salad. You know, it's a little bit difficult to cut, but she does it for me always, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand this. You don't understand this. They call this the Richard Mille. The nickname for this one is the kiwi. You know, the Johann Blake. You know Johann Blake? You know, Johann Blake. Listen and learn. Bobby, it's for free. I'm not going to charge you a consultation fee. Not me. It's for free, Bobby. This is why they're so angry. This is why they throw so many thunder lightnings to my antenna. How can we get this doofus? We can't. We can't. He just drops knowledge to these people for free. But what does he get? You know, every once in a while, he gets a little tap in his back, you know. We can't do nothing. So going back to the Richard Mille, the kiwi, the RM5901. Believable. Green, white, yellow, black. You know, it's unbelievable. The Energizer, you know. It's unbelievable, that Energizer, you know. It's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch is embarrassing. It's a tourbillon. It's a tourbillon. This is the watch that I explained to you. Today I might get another thunder lightning when I say this name, because I'm telling you, he must have $1 billion in watches. The guy from over there, you know with the the tunic, the thing, the hat, very short guy. He must have $1 billion in watches. Nobody in the watch industry has watches like that, iron chic tunic man. Don't ever forget that. I told you that. I said it wrong. Sweet Kid Kino to me, Joaquin to you, he told me that. This watch was all the way up to over. Ready for this? Anybody, throw me the highest number you have. Throw me the highest number. Go ahead, somebody. Go ahead, Mr. Blair. Go ahead, Mr. Donut. Go ahead, D. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead, Thurston. Somebody throw me one there. Somebody. Nobody will throw me a number? Nobody? This watch was over $2.4 million. $2.4 million. $2 million. 1.9, 1.8. And ladies and gentlemen, that guy from Feet Happy, good try, Thurston, good try. That guy from Feet Happy, he's asking for that Johann Blake tourbillon, with the psychedelic colors, unbelievable, those colors. They look like they're from Jamaica, Africa, unbelievable. They're asking $860,000. They're asking $860,000. 2 million, Papi. It was 2 million. 2 million, 2.2, 2.1. Unbelievable. And that SBA era, that PPPP era, government grants, stimulus checks, unemployment checks, protection check, for your company. It was money bazaar everywhere, It was unbelievable. And he's asking for that watch because they took it out of it was a safe queen. That watch was a safe queen, but they know it's dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse, and they got to take it out because the watch is losing money by the minute. So these guys at Feet Happy are asking you, Michiganers, Manishma, Manishma. They're asking you $860,000 for an STD material watch. STD. $860,000 with a tourbillon movement. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that, man. I am stupid. Feet Happy, I hope you're hearing me. I hope you're sitting down having your pork chops listening to me. There's no mercy here for nobody. Don't pay for that watch, which I wouldn't pay for that watch, nothing. But I'm gonna tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $560,000. Done! Done! I know what I'm telling you. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Listen to me. It might still be expensive, but it's cheaper with me. You know, some Michiganer will pay Feet Happy the $860,000. You bet they will. Because luckily they're not gonna get my request of my channel. Telling you what it is. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a Richard Mille. Another Richard Mille. Reference number 7201. The Snowflake. Original. Factory. Full diamond. Everything. Casing. You know, white gold. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch, so you understand how bad the watch industry has gotten, I'm going to tell you today, I'm going to give you the retail price of that watch because I'm stupid like that. That Richard Mille, reference 7201, white gold snowflake. Snowflake. Unbelievable time machine. The retail price of that watch, are you ready for this? The retail. You know, not the hype price, the retail. You know, if you wanted it from Richard Mille, you had to come up with $1,200,000. 1.2, fully factory. Fully factory. You know? And Feet Happy is asking for that watch $455,000. And Opusntime Watches is going to tell you don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $345,000, and 1.2 is the retail price of that watch. Feet Happy is asking $455, Poppy. Thurston Howard almost, he hit it. Thurston, you hit it. You hit it, Papa. This Thurston Howard III has to know something because his numbers are just right there. Right there. You do whatever you want, Poppy. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you another Richard Mille. This is the 6701. You know, special cut stones everywhere. You know, unbelievable watch, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I made a mistake and I take it back. I take it back. I have to correct myself. It's the Richard Mille 6701. Special cut, emerald cut, baguettes, everything. That watch is worth $1.2 million on the retail. They were asking Feet Happy $515,000. Okay? The RM 6701. I take it back. Please cross that one out. I'm correcting it. Retail is $1.2 million. They're asking $515,000. $515,000. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $405,000. That's the one. I got it correct now. Let me go back to this one again. It's the Richard Mille, the 7201, snowflake, white gold, factory diamond. They're asking $455,000, and I told you don't pay more than $345,000, which Thurston Howell III said $380,000. Right? That's correct already there. Okay, guys? Let me continue. And ladies and gentlemen, I have another Richard Mille, the RM11 titanium. You know, Feet Happy. They have it there for $155,000. The RM11 titanium. You know, chrono. Unbelievable watch. And I've been telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that watch is dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in Arkansas farmhouse. And I'm going to tell you, Feet Happy, you might be asking $155,000, but I'm telling my subscribers not to pay your penny over $126,000. And that! Okay, you got that one too. Write it down. It's the RM11 titanium. Okay, RM11 titanium. Ladies and gentlemen, our next, wow, 118. Woof, you're on fire, Thurston. You're on fire. Wow, he's on fire. These are my two last watch market updates on Feet Happy's, watches. This is the Patek Philippe Aquanaut Rose Gold 5269 with a 38 millimeter casing, a rubber strap, unbelievable watch, blue dial, the strap is blue, you know what I'm saying? It could be for your boyfriend, your girlfriend, nice size. Feet Happy has is a quartz movement quartz, a battery, Patek Philippe, They're asking for that watch $69,000, and I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $61,000. And bam! Okay? And this is our last watch. Our last watch is a Patek Philippe Aquanaut Rose Gold 5261 with a 39.9 millimeter casing, and they're asking for that watch, Feet Happy, $171,000. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than $151,000. And okay, guys, there it is. There's your watch market update for Feet Happy out of Beverly Hills, over there. All right? Wow. On fire, Mr. Donut. Wow. Wow. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you learned something in this watch market update show. You learned something on gold. You learned something about that guy, the subway train jumper that he's charging you people out there for a consultation fee of $20 to $30 depending on the time frame you spend with him. Be careful. Don't be dodo birds. Be smart. Don't be sandbags. Don't be crumb bums, all right? You guys are no longer recovering tomato cans. You guys have recovered already, and you know what's going on. So be smart, be sharp. Don't be dodo birds, all right? Don't be dodo birds. You know that we have a private watch group under my name, Juan Nieves, in Facebook. Scroll down to about, you'll find there Opusntime Watches. Request to join the channel. Maybe Samantha and Kino let you in, right, guys? Like me and Kino say every week, like we say every week, Take care. Before I leave, thank you all for being here, right, guys? That means a whole lot to me. Thank you very much for all of you being here, all right? Peace to all of you. Take care and brush your hair. Be careful over there in Lincoln Row and South Beach, on Labor Day. People over there will take your socks off without taking off your shoes. Bye, guys. Take care.